Chevrolet. He's a three-time winner this year in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series as designated there on his name tag. We went with the victory stickers, Jimmy. Make sure that you're aware of what that is.
You're on it.
We're on it.
Yeah.
But anyhow, talk about coming to Daytona and almost at the midpoint of the season and your outlook for this weekend, and we'll take a few questions.
For us, it's easy. Come down here and let it rip. Just have fun. Go for the win. It is a wild card race. We understand that anybody in the draft has a shot at winning the race. We have enough wins that we can throw caution to the wind if it's strategy on track. Really whatever it is. Our goal is to come here and put ourselves in position to win, and hopefully enter that white flag lap. In that front row in the first couple of positions and have a shot at winning the race.
All right, we'll take questions. We'll start with Ed, then we'll go to Alan, and then to Kelly. Ed, there's the mic right there, pal, right in front of you. Ed, Alan, and Kelly.
Talking to the wrong mic. Ed Hinton, ESPN.com. Jimmy, last year you came here and did what hadn't been done in 30-odd years and swept both Daytona events. Now Dale Jr.'s in the same position. For Hendrick Motorsports as a team, for Dale Jr., for NASCAR, how significant would you think it would be if Dale Jr. could sweep and win Saturday night?
Yeah, I haven't thought of it in that perspective, but an Earnhardt winning in Daytona is huge, period. Then we can break down through multiple other reasons why it would be meaningful and impactful for everybody involved. If I don't have a chance to win the race, I wouldn't mind if he did. So I'm more focused on myself and the 48 winning the race. But he's going to be fast, he's going to be strong, and have a very good opportunity to win. The stat went 30 years for a reason. It's not easy because plate racing, anything can happen. So if he can make it to the white flag lap, and he's the one that gave me that phrase about if I make it to the white, and you're in that picture, the finish line picture, you got a shot at winning. So. If he can make it to the white, he's definitely going to be a threat.
We'll go with Alan, Kelly, and Nate Ryan.
Alan Kamana at NASCAR.com. I got an Earnhardt-related question, too, right here, Jimmy.
Oh, sorry.
For the 88 team, what's more telling or I don't know, impressive or surprising? Is it the checkered flags, or is it runs like Kentucky and Sonoma where they may surprise you with at the end of the day with the performance that they're getting?
That's a good question. I guess at the end of the day, our sport's measured by trophies and checkered flags, so I'd have to put more weight in that column. But Junior's been in the sport a long time and has been a championship contender at various points in his career, and to be able to cover all sides of the game is important. So to check the box for winning races, check the box for being fast, check the box on tracks that historically aren't good for you, overcoming early issues in an event. Those are the things that seem to kind of get people talking about. That's a championship run, and we're seeing that much more consistent. And then also the trips to victory lane, which is great for them. Yeah.
We'll go Kelly, Nate, and then Bob Pockris. Raise your hand there, Kelly, and Nate, then Bob Pockris.
Kelly Crandall from Popular Speed. Jimmy, you and Chad both said at the beginning of the year that you were a little behind on the 214 package, but in the last 7 races, you've got 3 wins, have finished no worse than 10th, and have led over 500 laps. So curious if you're still feeling that way, and if so, what is the 48 team still working on?
Yeah, we still have some ground to make up. I feel the 4 car is really the most consistent car with speed off the truck. The Penske guys, seem to be able to create some really big speed at times, maybe not as consistent as the 4. And then we've been able to get there by Sunday, and in a lot of weekends it hasn't been a fun journey, unloading and searching and finding our way come race time. But even with that challenge, we're still pulling into victory lane and collecting a lot of points. So that's the part we need to clean up, and we're very aware of it inside the team. That unloading on Friday with speed in the car is really the area we need to zero in on. We try to look back and reflect and say, wow, we've done a great job as a team showing up off and finding our way there. So there's plenty to be proud of, but come chase time, you can't show up and unload on the right side of the scoring monitor and then find your way to victory lane. It's just, you're putting yourself too far behind the 8 ball. So luckily we have a couple months to really kind of advance and get our cars where they need to be.
We'll go to Nate, Bob Pockris, and Dinah Pulver.
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. Jimmy, when the Daytona 500 got restarted in February, it was really intense racing. A lot of guys said it was probably like the most intense racing they've ever done here. But yet, Talladega was sort of a weird race where I know you spun out like inexplicably, and there were some crazy wrecks, but then it kind of had a muted finish, and the 88 couldn't get forward. Have you noticed any trends this year in restrictor plate racing from either of those two races to take forward into Saturday night? Is there anything we saw February or at Talladega that will tell us anything about what Saturday might look like? Or
The only trend I'm confident in speaking about would be that the issue of track position in Daytona is far greater than in Talladega. There's so much more room. If you slip back, you seem to find your way to the front much easier in Talladega than you do here. But I can't explain why some races are more exciting. Some races whoever the leader is decides to run around the top, and we sit up there on a 43-car line. I don't know why. And it's crazy because it takes more than just one driver to make that decision and to help lead that. But there's kind of an energy on the track or a vibe that is assumed by all drivers after a while, and you either get caught up in the excitement and it's a real racy event, or it falls into more of a right around the top event. And I don't know what triggers that. It's real tough to follow that.
Did February seem like there was more energy? It did seem like there was more of that.
Yeah, I think the 500, brings that out. And then obviously we had the threat of rain. And for whatever reason, when the momentum changes, when we all decide it's time to race, it's exciting. When we all decide to ride, it's really boring. So, whatever direction it's going to go there. There isn't really an in-between, it seems like. So we'll see what unfolds on Saturday night. It's just so hard to predict it.
Let's go Bob Pockris, Dinah, and then Brant James.
Bob Pockris, Sporting News. A couple of weeks ago after Sonoma, Dale Jr. had said that he told Letarte that maybe the secret to being a great crew chief is to call every race like it's your last year, because that seems to help with strategy. But I'm curious, when you have good cars, how much easier is it to have good strategy, or is it not?
It is most of the time. There are some tracks where tire strategy comes into play, and you can maybe take a risk on two. And we've had that issue a few times where we've had a dominant car and we get to the end, the last pit stop, and 10 to 15 cars decide to go with 2 tires versus 4, and we're the leader. It's been easy, dominant. We'll take 4, won't take a risk, and the numbers of guys that put 2 on end up beating us. So, and that's not every track, but that's really the only thing you have to look out for. Outside of that, I think having a fast car creates a lot of opportunity for you, and really puts you in an offensive position, and that's what Chad likes so much. And in most situations, even if we lose a couple of spots, he'd rather have me on 4. We've got a fast enough car. You just start thinking, we've got a fast enough car. We're on 4. They're on 2. We can get to the front, and you start thinking of it, down that road. But every now and then, 10 or 15 guys will take 2, and you're on 4, and you just can't get back to the front.
Let's go with Dinah, Brant, and then Seth.
Hey, Dinah Pulver with the Daytona Beach News Journal. I wondered if you have a strategy for Twitter, or if you just do Twitter for fun, and what it is that you enjoy about it, because clearly you get a lot of interest with some of your things, like the little Disney princess dresses this week. It's pretty cute.
It's really random. There's nothing behind it that is organized. I could use a real and true person to spell check and proofread for me. Sometimes I go back through it and think, man, I was in too big of a hurry and let that fly out. But it's in between, it's pretty random. And there are weeks where I go and nothing comes to mind, or that the thought process doesn't happen where I think to share, or just too busy and can't share. But it's a big part of the world today. We put a lot of time and effort into our digital platform, starting with our website, right up through all the social channels. So, it's something that I personally have invested in. My sponsors, have their own sites and things as well. But, where in the position I am today, controlling and owning my own digital platform and really taking care of it's important. Yep.
Brant, right here, raise your hand. Get him the mic, please.
Brant James, ESPN.com. Who do you consider the elite group of restrictor plate racers, not just in terms of trophies, but always being in the mix, not making the big mistake, just sort of getting it with this form of racing?
Gosh, I think 20. 4 seems to be there. He's in the 4 or the 29. That car. Kevin seems to always put himself in position. 24. The little more on the erratic side, but always has plenty of speed, would be the 18. He's always a threat, but some wild things seem to happen for him. But I guess God put at the top of the list is the 20, and that might just reflect back to last year. It seemed like the 20 and the 48 were the 2 strongest cars at all the plate tracks, and we just kind of follow each other. He'd lead, I would lead. So first one is probably the 20, as of now.
Let's go to Seth. Raise your hand, Seth.
Seth Livingstone, NASCAR News Service. Jimmy, going into 4th of July weekend, everybody feels a little patriotic, but not everybody gets to shake hands with the president leading into the weekend. What's it like? What kind of experience is it like to go into D.C. and shake hands with the president? You guys on a first-name basis yet, or what?
No first-name basis, but the experience was amazing. To share it with my family was awesome. And in a few moments of private time we all had together, it was something I'll cherish forever. And when I think of how things have changed since our last championship, my last championship, every driver that made the chase went. This time, when we went a week or so ago, it was just the members of the 48 team. So it was really nice to let some of the guys, there's still plenty back at the shop, but to let 15 of them come and share and experience that huge honor.
Let's go to the gentleman, I think, in the green. Did you have a question, sir? Go ahead.
Hi, Jimmy. MK Hicks with NASCAR Productions. A bit of a preview question with Indy coming up. You've had a lot of success there. How do you feel about going there?
Excited for Indy. That's been a good track for us the last, 5 or 8 years. It took me a long time to figure that racetrack out. And once I zeroed in on how to drive the car, then I could give Chad the right feedback so we can make the car fast. And the first 5 times or so that I went there, I was driving the car wrong until race time. And then in the race, we didn't have enough adjustability in the car to get the car right. So that's probably one of the most driver-sensitive tracks that we go to. And looking forward to going back. We had a nice opportunity last year. Came up a little short in second. And hopefully to go back and hopefully break the record there.
Don Coble, did you have a question? Raise your hand, please.
Jimmy, Don Culver with Morris News Service. I know you like to win everywhere, but where does the 400 rank on the list of importance? I mean, because it's Daytona, is it still kind of viewed a little bit higher than other races?
Yeah, it's so hard to rank them, and tracks have different meanings for different drivers, different team members. All of us have tracks that are fond to us for whatever reason. But winning in Daytona is always a special thing. If it's an IROC race, or I've tried many times here in a Grand Am car to win. If it was the 6-hour event in the summer or the Rolex 24, I wouldn't mind winning a big wheel race in the infield. It wouldn't bother me a bit to win in Daytona. So for me, it's up there on the list for sure. We go through our majors and can argue, what tracks kind of fit into that category. I don't feel that this July race is really in that category, but I think it's a fun race because of the weekend it falls on, and we're able to run patriotic paint schemes, say thank you to the men and women that defend and serve for us, and celebrate Independence Day. So, that definitely jazzes things up and pushes it up the list.
Chris, probably the final question as we await Dale Earnhardt Jr. Go ahead.
Chris Knight, CatchFence.com. Jimmy, Tyler Clary ran his first racing event this past Tuesday at Charlotte Motor Speedway. He seems pretty confident and has a pretty strict timeline of what he wants to accomplish in a racing career, and he's leaned on you as a mentor. How's your relationship with Tyler, and do you feel like that he will accomplish what he set out to do?
Yeah, he's definitely, involved in motorsports, has a passion for it. But the cool thing is to know that his real passion's coming up in 2016, and everything's building up to that. As I've been able to advise him, I've just encouraged him to get seat time, and you really get one opportunity in the truck nationwide or cup. Obviously he would probably get his first start in truck or maybe nationwide, and when you go there, you've got a short time frame. So I've encouraged him, just whatever he can find to put his rear in, to run laps and understand, what wedges, what rebound does to the car, roll center height, sway bars, and really just get ingrained in that, and to have fun without the pressure of a big sponsor waiting in the wings and national media paying attention to you. That's a lot of pressure that's tough to overcome, and every small mistake you make ends up national news. So I'm happy that he's out and enjoying himself. Of course, he has a vision and a plan, which I think is important. And hopefully it'll all come together for him. And first and foremost, hopefully he's holding up gold in 2016. Yep.
Jimmie, thanks for coming in. Good luck this weekend.
Got it.